I'm joined now by the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, Congressman Elijah Cummings, who was just sued by the president. Chairman Cummings, thank you so much for being here.
It's good to be with you.
So first, let me get your reaction to this lawsuit, this unprecedented lawsuit, suing you, your committee, for requesting Trump's financial and business records.
Well, Joy, first of all, I was not surprised because this administration has done everything in its power and used every means necessary to block the Congress from getting the information that we need to do our job. Not only are they blocking witnesses from coming forward, Joy, but they have not given us one document upon our requests. And so they basically, the American people said in the last election, we want to hold Donald Trump accountable. But Joy, it's impossible to hold him accountable if we don't get any information. And he's trampling on the Constitution, no doubt about it.
And Josh Marshall, I use the phrase massive resistance in the opening. He does as well. He says they're flatly refusing the White House to comply with ordinary document production and testimonial requests across the board. It's not a difference of degree, but of kind. In and of itself, it's an impeachment-worthy refusal to follow the constitutionally mandated framework of American government. Short of impeaching the president or the officials who are refusing to comply with your document requests, how can Democrats cause this White House to comply with the Article I powers requests?
Well, the number one thing that we're going to do next with regard to Mr. Klein, who did not appear today, is that we will hold a vote of our committee shortly to hold him in contempt. And then we will check with House Counsel, the Congressional Counsel, to see where we go from there. But the fact is that the Republicans really do need to cooperate with us to make sure that this president does not trample on the Constitution. And the thing about it, Joy, is when we allow these things to happen, basically what the Congress is doing is, and that is the Republicans in the Congress, are allowing President Trump to take away our power and in turn take away the power of our constituents.
Well, the question I think that a lot of people have, Chairman Cummings, is Democrats clearly want to hold Donald Trump to account. Democrats are subpoenaing witnesses and documents and trying to do the normal course of oversight. Republicans have made it very clear that they are not going to help you, that they are not going to defy this president, even to defend their own branch of government. So I guess what the American people want to know is what else can Democrats do? What can Democrats do? Is there something other than issuing letters? What can Democrats do?
Yeah, well, Joy, what we have to do is what we are doing now. We've got to take that Mueller report, which, by the way, is a roadmap for a lot of investigations. And we've got to do what Chairman Nadler's already done. That is, make sure that we subpoena the unredacted Mueller report and then bring in Mueller and Barr to hear what they have to say. And I understand that that he has also subpoenaed McGahn, but keep in mind, there are recent articles this evening that say that the White House will be even going against that. In other words, they are doing a blockade. But so we've got to do our research. We've got, and keep in mind, there's still 14 areas that Mueller referred to the New York U.S. Attorney's offices. And so that very well may involve the president and do involve the president. Keep in mind, we also have Trump's testimony. So what we've got to do is get all of the information. That's one of the things that Speaker Pelosi has said. She wants us to be very careful. We want to be transparent, but we also want to do it, Joy, with integrity so that the American people can buy into it. The American people have to help us to force this issue to make sure that the president is obeying the law.
Well, sir, do you understand why a lot of Democrats, a lot of people in the base say the Democrats are being deliberate and playing by the rules, but the other side has thrown the rule book out the window and has burned it? I mean, President Andrew Johnson was impeached for violating the Tenure of Office Act and firing the Secretary of War. One violation of that law, and he was impeached by the House of Representatives. So do you understand why a lot of Democrats say, what is the Democratic House waiting for?
Joy, I understand completely. I think a lot of us are torn because we realize that if this president continues down the path that we're going, we won't have a democracy. We understand that. But at the same time, going back to Speaker Pelosi, all she's trying to do is make sure we get all of our ducks in a row. Nobody is saying that this thing may not end up in an impeachment. But we realize that impeachment is a very serious thing, and we're going to do whatever we have to do. But first, we're going to have to do our research, and we're going to do it exceedingly well.
When can the American people expect to see Robert Mueller testify, and will that testimony be public?
That's I expect that it will be public. I'm not sure exactly when Mr. Nadler, Chairman Nadler, has that scheduled. But again, what I would expect, though, is that the White House will continue to fight anybody coming before the Congress. In other words, they basically would do away with the Congress. There would be no Congress if it were this White House. So don't. I want to say to the public, understand we are laser focused on what we have to do. We realize that people are impatient, that they anxiously want to see this president impeached. But on the other hand, they have to understand that we're going to do that, but we're also going to do all of the issues like the skyrocketing prices of prescription drugs, the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, pre-existing conditions, things of that nature, infrastructure. We're doing all of those things too. But so we're going down two lanes here, Joy. And
I know you had the committee is working on things regarding drug price. I know it's very important to the American people. But is it not possible to work on that drug price issue, things that you just mentioned, but also pursue the lane, the impeachment lane, if that's what's called for, if, as you say, the White House is simply trying to negate the existence of the United States Congress?
Yeah, no doubt about it. We are, I've often said that we are doing, in my committee, we're definitely doing both. And I think all the other committees are doing both. In other words, we're doing those things that affect the American people, but we're also dealing with the whole idea of exposing this president as he takes apart our democracy and basically has done, I think, harm to our country. But again, Joy, keep in mind, we do not have, there's no way that we're going to get 20 votes in the Senate. We can indict him, basically, but then what does the Senate do? But I also believe that there will come a point in time, possibly, where the evidence will be so overwhelming, particularly when you look at the Mueller report, that the public will say, you know what, this man, President Trump, does not reflect our values. We're tired of the lies. We're tired of him instructing people to lie. We're tired of the deceit. And then I think they'll look and see what they've gotten from him. Higher taxes for the middle class, and they're going to say, wait a minute, a lot of the things, most of the things he said he was going to do, he did not do.
Yeah. And my final question to you, sir, that, Republicans back in the 1990s believed that Bill Clinton, who was a duly elected president, deserved to have the mark of impeachment on him. They were not successful in removing him, but they wanted to put that on him. Do you believe that Donald Trump deserves to have the mark of impeachment, as you said, of indictment, whether or not he would be removed?
I think he does. I think if you just read the Mueller report in and of itself, Joy, let's be clear. When you look at the Mueller report, the 10 items that Mueller pointed out with regard to obstruction, if you take any one of those, anybody in the United States that I know of would probably already be indicted, except the President of the United States.
Yeah. Congressman Elijah Cummings, thank you so much for your time tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.